Once upon a time, God told Abraham to leave his house in Mesopotamia.
Take your family and go on a long journey west.
And so he did. He moved to Canaan, but then they moved again because of the famine. They moved to Egypt, where they lived under Egypt's Pharaoh. The Israelites were then made into slaves under the rule of Pharaoh, for he was too afraid that the Israelites would take over. Until one day, when a man named Moses finally spoke up. God then sent a message to Moses.
Moses, you will lead the Israelites out of Egypt. You will tell the Pharaoh to let my people go.
What if he won't listen to me?
Moses, you must have faith.
Moses did as he was told. He demanded that his people are let go.
Pharaoh, let my people go.
What makes you think I will do that?
Moses then turned the Nile River into blood, concluding the Pharaoh to set the Israelites free. But then he changed his mind last minute. He captured them and took them back.
For the second time, let my people go.
No.
There were 10 more plagues, the next being worse than the last.
For the last time, let my people go.
No.
The 10th plague was the worst. The firstborn son of every Egyptian family would die. The Pharaoh was finally convinced.
Take your people and go.
Next morning, which the Exodus happened, Moses led his people across the Red Sea. Then Pharaoh changed his mind. When they saw Pharaoh's army come, they were terribly frightened.
Don't be frightened. God will help us.
Moses then miraculously split the Red Sea. The Israelites quickly passed, and the waves fell upon the Egyptians. Then they continued the journey to the Promised Land, Canaan. It took them many years to reach the desert, but during their journey they reached Mount Sinai.
Moses, climb the mountain, which is where I will give you my promise.
Moses climbed up the mountain where he received 2 stone tablets engraved with the 10 Commandments. When the Israelites accepted the 10 Commandments, they agreed to only worship God. Eventually, the Israelites made it to Canaan. The Israelites then begged for a king. Saul was to be their first king. Saul became very angry and wasn't king anymore. Once he died, David became the new king. David was a shepherd. David was a good man, and he was well loved by the Israelites. Once he died, his son, Solomon, took the throne in about 965 BC. Like his father, he was strong. The Israelites built a great temple in Jerusalem.
The dispersal of the Jews happened in 530 BC. When the Persians conquered the Chaldeans, the Jews were allowed to return back to Jerusalem. Not many returned. Instead, they moved to the other parts of the Persian Empire. The rest returned to Jerusalem. The Jews stayed under the Persian Empire control until the 330s BC. They were conquered by invaders.
In 160 BC, the Maccabees led a successful revolt. The independence didn't last long, though. They were then conquered by the Romans. The Romans had heavy taxes, brutal masters, and no respect for the way of life. The rulers forced the Jews to worship Roman emperor. The Jews called their people to rebel against the Romans.
Israelite government was ruled by men. Women had few rights. The woman would obey the father.
Yes, I obey, Father.
She can't even choose her own husband or inherit property unless she had no brothers. Although women had lots of control, some made great contributions, such as Queen Esther and Deborah. Other leaders like Miriam were spiritual leaders. Ruth was an example of how people should treat their family. I'm Alexis, and I was a narrator and a Jew.
I'm Maggie, and I was Moses, a Jew, and Ruth.
I'm Natalie, and I was God, the narrator, King Solomon, an Israelite woman, and an Israelite husband.
Hi, I'm Izzy, and I was Abraham, King David, and a Maccabees and a wife.
My name is Milan, and I played Pharaoh, King Saul, a Roman, a Jew, and an Israelite father.
Bye!